When I talk to early career physicians, one question comes up almost every time. Should I pay off my line of credit or should I start investing? It sounds like a straightforward choice, but if it was, it wouldn't be such a common question. There's a reason so many new doctors feel torn. On the one hand, you finally have a real income and you want to build wealth. But on the other hand, that large debt balance feels like a huge weight on your shoulders. When you get advice that pushes you in only one direction, it often just doesn't feel right. I want to break this down from three different angles: the math, the psychology, and the risk, because you actually need to understand all three of those to make a good decision. So let's start with the math. Mathematically, if your loan interest rate is lower than the expected rate of return on your investments, then investing usually comes out ahead. That's often true for government student loans, lines of credit, and mortgages. But those calculations assume a few things. They assume that the market is going to behave the way you want it to. They assume that you're going to stay invested through any market volatility. And they assume that maximizing your net worth is your only goal. All of that might be true on paper, but people don't live on paper. Now the psychology. Debt hits people differently. For many new physicians, it's really the number one source of financial stress. Even if the math says investing's better, you still have to live with that debt every day. Morgan Housel, who wrote The Psychology of Money, wait a second, I'll show you. This book right here. Morgan Housel talks about the difference between rational decisions and reasonable ones. A rational decision optimizes the spreadsheet. A reasonable one fits your values and helps you sleep at night. For me, and for many of the people who I work with, paying off debt often falls squarely into that reasonable category. And then there's the risk. If you choose to invest instead of paying down debt, you're using leverage. You're borrowing at one rate while hoping to earn more in the market. When markets are rising, that feels great. But when they're volatile or falling, it feels terrible. Given that in any given week, the market is almost as likely to be down rather than up, leverage is not exactly a strategy that promotes peace of mind for most people. Let's look at a simple example. If you have a $200,000 line of credit and $100,000 that you could either invest or use to reduce that debt, the choice leads to two very different risk profiles. If you put the $100,000 towards the debt, then you would now owe $100,000 rather than $200,000. Simple. If you invested instead, you're still going to owe the full $200,000, and you're hoping that the market will cooperate with the other $100,000. But imagine the market drops that $100,000 investment to $80,000. Well, you have no idea how long the recovery is going to take. And at the same time, you're still paying interest on the full $200,000 debt balance. And what about those interest rates? We've seen that they can rise very quickly. From mid-2021 to mid-2023, line of credit rates roughly tripled. For someone carrying a large balance, that alone added thousands of dollars in extra interest. So this combination of leverage plus volatility widens the range of possible outcomes. It creates the chance of building wealth faster, but also the chance of worse outcomes. Paying off debt, on the other hand, gives you a guaranteed return equal to the interest rate of the debt and steady, risk-free progress. So what's the practical solution in real life? Well, this does not have to be an all or nothing decision. In my experience, a hybrid approach works extremely well for many people. There are three reasons why I like this. First, making meaningful early debt payments reduces stress. Getting the debt down to a level that feels manageable often feels great. Even just the process of doing that feels great. Secondly, investing small amounts early helps you build a skill, a really useful skill, the skill of investing. You set up your accounts, you choose a simple all-in-one ETF, you automate the contributions, and you learn how you react to the ups and downs of the market. It's really a low stakes way to develop one of the most valuable financial skills you'll ever learn. And then third, once the debt's gone, you're ready with the accounts and the skills that you need to carry yourself into the next phase. All of that freed up debt cash flow can shift directly into long-term investing, and you already have a system in place that you know works. So how do you decide what's right for you? Start by asking 2 questions. Does your debt feel overwhelming? If it does, just prioritize paying it down until it reaches a level that feels comfortable. That is never the wrong choice. And then second, is it important to you to build your investing skills and momentum early? If so, invest smaller amounts alongside your debt payments. Use those years to learn and build confidence. For most physicians, a balanced approach hits the sweet spot. You make aggressive payments to reduce your stress and the risk, and you invest enough to build the habits that are going to carry you through the rest of your career. In the end, the goal isn't to maximize every dollar. It's to make steady progress without feeling overwhelmed.